So howdy, folks. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering, where the heck is Phil? Oh, there's that guy. Holy smokes. Thank you, Andy. That was a good shot. I tried to send him a picture we took last night. Scott and I and my boys went to go see the new Spider-Man movie, but it was a little grainy, so it was good. It was good. We had a great time. Anyway, back to the point at hand. I'm sure a lot of you have been wondering, where the heck is Philip been? So here it is. I joined the circus, y'all. They made me the carnival barker at the freak show. That's only partly true. I went to rehab. That's what was going on. So I'll just share a little bit about my background. I took my first drink, got drunk the first time at 15 years old, got high the first time at 16, and so it's been 28 years I've been wrestling with that stuff. I've had periods of sobriety in my life, a year here, 6 months there, whatever it was. But every time I decide to get back in the ring with that bottle, it kicks my butt, man. I mean, and every time it gets stronger and I get weaker. And, I'm sure a lot of you guys, you might be able to have a glass of wine or a beer watching a game, and that's totally cool. You don't even think about sobriety. But for me and those who are like me, a drink is never going to be good. So what they say is one drink is too many and 1,000 is never enough, right? So if you've got the problem of addiction like I have, it's not a way for me to drink like normal people. And it's a disease. And so learned a lot about that in treatment. I've learned about it before, but brought it back to mind. So it kind of lives right here in the middle of my brain with all of those animal instincts of survival. And so no matter how much I think with this always wins out. It always beats out. And alcohol, for me, I got to where I hated it. I had made a buddy in treatment, and he said, and this is not my particular drug of abuse, but he said, Philip, I hate cocaine, but I love the way it smells, And it's, but it's one of those things, it's like, I just have to know that. So it's a disease, there's no cure for it, there's no pill you could take, there's no, medical remedy. The beautiful news is there is a way that we can overcome it. But the deal is, and this is what Mom told me before I went, she's like, Philip, God just gave me the word surrender. And so in the 12 steps we talk about we're powerless, right? So we're powerless over our addictions and compulsive behaviors. Our lives had become unmanageable, and we have to be willing to surrender to a power greater than ourselves in order to have any kind of hope for this. And another part of my issue was I always looked at guys like Pastor, who's got 30 plus years of getting this thing right, and I'm like, I will never do that. And I was in a meeting while I was in treatment, and one of the guys was talking about going to this meeting with a bunch of old timers and talking about 27 years, 17 years, and he stood up, and basically said, "Who gives a flip? All we got is today, right?" And so that's all I've got. I cannot stay sober tomorrow. And I can't worry about yesterday. But I can do today. I can do today. And I've got a little band on my wrist that says, just for today. And so we do it a day at a time. And that's the good news is, when I wake up, I say a prayer. I can reach out to people that are like me. And it's only people like me that can understand what it's like to be me. And so we've got an amazing community here at Center Point Church. We've got Celebrate Recovery. We've got an AA group that meets here. I've been hitting a bunch of meetings since I've been out. It's been awesome. And God's just like, the places that I've gone that are not here, people just are there that I know. And I'm like, hey, I know you. And I turn up there, I'm like, hey, I know you. And it's like my clients, like people I've known for years. And I'm like, hey, do you know where you know me from? They're like, I'm like, normally I have a tie on. I'm working at the bank. They're like, oh, yeah, dude. So it's been really cool. It's been encouraging. And so that's what's been going on. And I'm grateful to have gone. I'm grateful to be back. I missed my banditos. I missed every single one of you guys. And just so happy to be back in worship. I'll share one or two cool things if I got a second. So when I got there, there's a little chapel. I went up to Black Bear, which is in Cleveland. That's where I graduated high school from. And they have a chapel there. But all they did with it was yoga. They did yoga twice on Sundays. And so I went to the folks there, and I was like, hey, listen, can I just get in the chapel and pray? And they had guitars and just play music and have worship time on Sundays. And they're like, well, no, you can't really do that because nobody's going to be in there with you. And so I went and talked to, they assign you a therapist. Went and talked to my therapist. I'm like, listen, I can go in the gym by myself and work out, and there's weights and all that stuff. I just want to go in the church and say a prayer and, do that on my day of worship. And she emailed the higher-ups and like, sure. So we started having church at rehab, which was awesome. Got to lead a morning devotion there every single day, and just it was really, really neat, and met some of the coolest people. Alcoholics and addicts are my folks, and that's what Mike, kind of likes to say. They're my people. They know me. I know them. And so it's just they're some of the greatest folks when we're some of the greatest people when we're sober. And so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I'm so happy to be back with you guys in worship. So thank you. Thank you. And thank you guys for holding it down, especially.